We've already won in many ways, but we haven't won enough. We go forward more determined than ever to achieve ultimate victory that will end this long-running danger once and for all.
President Trump continues touting progress being made in the war against Iran. What he's saying about the potential end of the conflict and what measures he's taking to alleviate concerns about rising oil prices.
Frustrations are mounting for business owners in Fresno who say the city's homeless crisis is getting out of control and also affecting their bottom lines.
Sometimes it gets to the point where they want to fight me. So you know what I mean? So I'll try not to put myself in my way like that. And then when we call the cops, they tell us just leave them alone or let them go or just let them roam around.
Why they believe the unhoused community is to blame for repeated break-ins and vandalism, and why they're also urging city leaders to take stronger measures to address this problem.
25 days into the partial government shutdown with no end in sight, and TSA agents are being burdened by the consequences. What strategy Republican senators are now weighing to restore funding for the Department of Homeland Security, and why there's actually no guarantee it'll work.
You're watching Fox 26, and now, great day.
We began this hour with a live look at El Capitan's live view of Half Dome there in Yosemite National Park. I always like to keep a close eye because then you see the meteors going through there. Today's high in Yosemite expected to reach 62. There we see one right there, right above El Capitan. Today's high there, 62 degrees. Did you see it?
No, I didn't see it.
You don't see it? It's moving right there.
Oh, wow. Must be nice.
It is nice.
Got to miss beauty's, nature's beauty.
Why not? If not, we'll take it again probably later this week. If not next week, why not? There's always something to see there. Good morning on this Tuesday. I'm Liz Gonzalez.
I'm Carl Cook.
And I'm Justin Willis. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, nice and clear up there in Yosemite. We only got a half moon out there going, but it's enough to light up Yosemite Valley and get us some clear skies here. We're actually going to see some clouds as we go throughout the day, and wind speeds are going to pick up. So let's get the day planner rolling here and show you how that's working out for you. Current conditions right now, well, it's nice and cool out there. Just some very light winds, calm in some places here. 54 degrees out there right now, dew points at 49. And the rest of the day at 10 a.m., 60 degrees at noon, 67 at 5, 73. And at 5 o'clock is when those wind speeds are going to start picking up for us. They'll be about 5 to 10 miles an hour up until then, but we could see up to 15 mile an hour winds going for us for a few hours at the end of the day. So nothing crazy there, but there are a couple of advisories associated with the wind that you might want to know about for some parts of the region. We'll take a look at that coming up.
President Trump says the U.S. military operation in Iran is ahead of schedule, and the U.S. is achieving major strides towards completing its goal. During a news conference yesterday, the president said the U.S. has destroyed most of Iran's naval power. He says the military is targeting Iran's drone facilities and manufacturing sites, and he says in total the U.S. has struck over 5,000 targets. But the president refused to specify exactly when he thought this conflict would end.
Thank you, Mr. President. On Iran, you called it an excursion. You said it would be over soon. Are you thinking this week it will be over?
No,
Are you talking
but soon.
about days?
I think soon.
Okay, and with respect
Very soon. Look, everything they have is gone, including their leadership.
President Trump also talked about the Strait of Hormuz, saying the U.S. will make sure cargo ships carrying oil will be able to make their way through the vital shipping channel in the volatile region.
We're also focused on keeping energy and oil flowing to the world, and I will not allow a terrorist regime to hold the world hostage and attempt to stop the globe's oil supply. And if Iran does anything to do that, they'll get hit at a much, much harder level. I will take out those targets that were easy and that I mentioned just before. We'll take them out so quickly, they'll never be able to recover, ever. If they want to play that game, they better not play that game. In the long run, oil supplies will be dramatically more secure without the threat of Iranian ships, drones, missiles, nuclear menace, or anything. So the Strait of Hormuz is going to remain safe.
Senate Democrats are now demanding a public hearing on the U.S.'s involvement in the conflict with Iran, which has cost the lives of 7 U.S. service members. Meanwhile, the president is doubling down on claims Iran would have carried out an attack of its own, if the U.S. and Israel had not taken military action first against the country.
I'll give you the best reason of all. Within a week, they were going to attack us 100%. They were ready. They had all these missiles, far more than anyone thought, and they were going to attack us. But they were going to attack all of the Middle East and Israel, and if they had a nuclear weapon, they would have used it on Israel.
The Associated Press reports administration officials told congressional staff in private briefings that the U.S. intelligence did not suggest Iran was preparing a preemptive strike against the U.S. Democrats have criticized the U.S. military operation against Iran, arguing President Trump should have gotten congressional approval beforehand. Republican lawmakers insist the president acted within his constitutional authority. The State Department now says it has completed over 24 charter flights and safely evacuated thousands of Americans from the Middle East. By the agency's numbers, more than 36,000 Americans have fled the region since the U.S. and Israel began attacking Iran last month. This update follows multiple reports of Americans struggling to find their own way home with little government assistance. A spokesperson for the State Department says the government is providing help, but acknowledged that many Americans have decided against their offered travel options.
But when I say government arranged travel options, talking about those charter flight options, when we reach out to Americans that have contacted us, currently over half of Americans are turning down those government arranged travel options in favor of a commercial option, another travel option, or to stay in the region.
The State Department has issued urgent warnings for Americans in at least 14 countries to depart immediately. Well, live to the Pentagon, where Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth is giving an update on the ongoing military operations against Iran. Let's listen in.
And decisively defeated. But we do so on our timeline and at our choosing. For example, today will be yet again our most intense day of strikes inside Iran. The most fighters, the most bombers, the most strikes, intelligence more refined and better than ever. So that's on one hand. On the other hand, the last 24 hours have seen Iran fire the lowest number of missiles they've been capable of firing yet. Just the bifurcation, just the trend lines that we talked about on our first briefing. You see, this is not 2003. This is not endless nation building under those types of quagmires we saw under Bush or Obama. It's not even close. Our generation of soldier will not let that happen again, and nor will this president, who very clearly ran against those kinds of never-ending, nebulously scoped missions. Those days are dead. Instead, we're winning decisively with brutal efficiency, total air dominance, and an unbreakable will to accomplish the president's objectives on our timeline. We stay locked on the target because here at the Department of War, that's our job. Now, the chairman and I, having just returned from Dover last night, our troops and their families and the enormous sacrifice that they make is certainly heavy on my mind. So I'll close with scripture, drawing strength from Psalm 144. Blessed be the Lord, my rock, who trains my hands for war and my fingers for battle.
All right, it's time to get a look at the weather here for us. And, this is what's happening out there. High pressure out there has been kind of impacting this. This to the east of us, they're starting to back off. And then we have low pressure now that's starting to settle in. And that is going to get our temperatures back down to like the mid-70s here. But we're still going to be well above normal. High pressure then, this is the thing we're watching. High pressure, huge ridge of high pressure going to build, and we're going to get our temperatures soaring. I mean, we're talking about some heat here, 90s at the end of the winter season. So that's what's on tap for us here. Let's take a look at some winds, because that's going to be another story for us. Not really going to impact us till later today. Right now, we are at 6 miles an hour in the North Valley there, 5-6 miles an hour in the South Valley. Pretty calm in Fresno right now. By the end of the day, though, these are going to get going up to about 15 miles an hour in some some places. So we'll be keeping an eye on that for you, but just so you know, it's going to happen. All right, so some other alerts we have out there for you. Just to the south there, these are just for the morning hours there. Those wind speeds really picking up in the Mojave region there down on the San Gabriel Mountains. Looks like until about 9 o'clock on this wind advisory there. It's going to impact if you're going to be heading over Tehachapi Pass or the Grapevine this morning there. So just be wary of that. 50-mile-an-hour winds possible as you're heading that way. So hang on to that steering wheel with 2 hands. Otherwise, temperatures, well, we're going to be at 75 for our high today. And that is 9 degrees above normal. 10 degrees above normal on Wednesday, and they're all the way up to 80 degrees there on Thursday, 40s overnight. Now 80, that's pretty warm. Our normal is 66, and the record's at 84, and we're at 80, so that's going to be warm enough there. We're not even at spring yet, but we'll get there eventually, but we'll have plenty of sunshine at least the next few days. All right, in just a bit, we'll get to look at the highs and lows across the rest of the valley.
Republican senators now scrambling to pass a funding bill for the Department of Homeland Security. Why they argue doing so is a matter of national security, and why the president's vow not to sign any new bills is making the task even more difficult. Time is now 5:10.
Hi, I'm Monty Torres with Fox 26 News on YouTube. Thank you for checking out our YouTube channel, where we have loads of great content for you to choose from. And while you're here, why not click on the subscribe button right here? That way you can stay in touch with all the latest breaking news, everything news related within the Central Valley. And thank you for watching.